Who rules? Jenny Penn.
Welcome to Primetime Mitch. It's a quick review today, and this review is going to be on The Rule of Jenny Penn, directed by James Ashcroft and starring John Lithgow and Geoffrey Rush. Now, there are spoilers in this review. If you wanted to see a quick spoiler-free review, go check out my Instagram page. There's a small video on there giving my first thoughts on this movie, but today I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth because I think this movie deserves it. First of all, with this, I thought the trailer was very good. I watched about 20 seconds of it and then I went, no, turn it off. I'm good. That's enough for me. I'm being very minimal nowadays with trailers. My first thought was John Lithgow playing a sinister, unpleasant character is not something that I'm completely alien to. If you've seen Dexter, you will remember his turn in that. But mostly he has been a comedy actor, and he absolutely tears it up in this. Before we get on to his antics, I'll sort of round up where we start. Geoffrey Rush is a judge, and he is passing sentence, and he has a stroke in the middle of sentencing this terrible person. Obviously, the occasion getting to him, the emotion getting to him, and it just, his body disintegrates, it gives up, and he ends up in a care home. Now, I've seen movies in care homes before. Most notably, I did a Letterboxd review at the back end of last year on Age-Old Friends with Hume Cronin and Vincent Gardenia. That's a great little movie, a nice little comedy, heartstrings TV movie. And this was very much a similar, familiar setting, having just seen that quite recently. But this obviously is so much darker, and Geoffrey Rush, he's an intelligent guy. He's also quite highly strung. He's not happy about what's happened to him. He feels like he doesn't want to descend into this world, so therefore he's very short with everybody, very angry and aggressive. And then his patience is tested by the noticing of this bizarre character in the corner of the break room, laughing at the television, and he has a hand puppet on, which is a doll, which is a baby, and it's got no eyes, which is weird enough as it is. I have heard about this comfort puppets thing that is some of this movie is based on. Now, I understand that these comfort dolls are used in sort of dementia cases because they are a therapeutic way of dealing with the illness and are a tremendously positive idea. And this kind of spins it in the other direction, which is a very brave move, I think. Geoffrey Rush's character, Stefan, he finds himself in a shared room with another patient, a former rugby player, Tony Garfield. He was once an All Black, so he was once an intimidating, strong presence, and he has been whittled down over the years with age. His physical condition has deteriorated, and obviously that is very, very disheartening for somebody. And you see his pain throughout this, and he has been reduced to being weak and submissive, and this is where Lithgow is at his absolute worst. I mean, his character Dave Creeley subjects him to tremendous humiliation in the night. You can tell right from the off that he is a silent bully. He is playing the part of being incapable, mentally vacant. You see at the beginning where he goes up to the reception and he has the doll Jenny Penn in his hand and he's just sort of staring into space. And then suddenly he comes to life when he gets a moment alone with his fellow residents. And it's just very, very unsettling to see just how much control he has over the rest of the residents, because he is sort of portraying himself as being as incapacitated as they are, when really he's still got all his wits about him. So he is using their vulnerability and their incapability as a strength and a lever to carry out as much torment as he possibly can. He is an absolutely revolting character, and Lithgow plays him so well and so viciously. Stefan does cotton on to what's going on early and starts firing back, but as his body is deteriorating, he is struggling to find a way to try and take control of this situation and bring to attention what Creeley is up to. And this is where Rush's performance is excellent to me, because he is working against these ailments, and it really shows. He really portrays that deterioration very, very well, very effectively. and you believe that there is a strong mind in there. There is a very intelligent presence in there that just can't get out anymore. It is stuck behind this aging, damaged body. Of course, throughout this, it's not just Lithgow that is intimidating, it's the doll on the hand. Jenny Penn, there's something about that soulless look, that the eyes have been taken out for a reason, because there's nothing there in Lithgow. There's nothing there in 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐄. He is just a soulless, cold, empty person that takes great pleasure and enjoyment out of hurting others, and the doll represents him. I feel like that lifeless look is exactly what he is. He is just a non-entity. We would be all better off without him, and that doll is that representation all the way through. It is stuck to his hand. Everything seems to go through the doll. You don't know whether he's carrying out things for the doll because he feels spiritually towards it. I don't know. That's up for interpretation. But you do see some quite large, scary shots of it at certain points where it sort of rises up, and it's the all-conquering force that drives 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐄 to be how he is. But one of the things I found interesting in this is he was always there throughout the years at this care home. He has always been there, whether he could have been a janitor, or he could even have been one of the carers, for all we know. We just see him in all the photographs over the years, and you wonder what his connection to this place is. And the worst thing, and I think the most frightening thing about this movie, how long has he been doing this for, and how many people have suffered in their last years because of this guy? That is a terrifying thought, and it's only one that sort of came to me later when I was thinking about it. I didn't even think about it when they were looking at him on the wall in the pictures. It just came to me afterwards. Like, that is a lot of years of making people's lives miserable, and family members wouldn't know about it. And I think it's the underlying message behind this is just the vulnerability. It's the isolation, and it is about tyranny, essentially. They're dictating in an environment that you would least expect it, but at the same time, you can really believe it. Elder on elder abuse that you don't often see. I mean, unfortunately, it goes on in the world, and it has been reported in certain places when it's sort of the younger on elder with the carers and things like that. That is something that's an unfortunate discussion that has been important over time. But to see it happen between the residents, you could believe that they are so afraid to feel or look any weaker than they already are. They don't want to lose any dignity, and that's certainly the case with Tony Garfield. Therefore, somebody like 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐄, who has a sick desire to bully and to belittle and to control and domineer, he can thrive in an environment like that. Now, this is where I get to the sort of things that I said in my Instagram, spoiler free, that this was a very good movie. I couldn't call it great. 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐄 is allowed to do so much, which can be frustrating. I don't often like movies where nobody believes somebody, or, something's blatantly happening and it's just ignored. Jaws accepting. But there is an element of extreme negligence in this movie, which I didn't really buy. Too often, the corridors were empty. 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐄 was allowed to do things at night where there was no security or supervision on hand to make sure that the place was locked down and safe at night. They almost sort of pushed that aside to allow the story, but unfortunately I think it hampers the story because you stop believing this care home is actually a legitimate business. They also don't believe Stefan when he complains. They sort of almost want to side with 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐄, which is weird because care staff aren't afraid of 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐄. He's an old man, he's an old frail man. He may be in better condition than the rest of them, but they're not going to be intimidated by him. So I didn't understand the siding with him and dismissal of any potential possibility that this guy could be doing what he's doing. He's walking around with a fucking doll on his hand, and he's laughing hysterically and wildly at television in the break room. Don't tell me that he was not remotely suspicious. That's what brought the movie down for me. Otherwise, amazing performances, fantastic idea, and some real nasty chills in there, some creepy elements. The amount of time I was in this movie when I was sat there like this, that is what I like to see from a horror. A real slow burning psychological journey, and for the most part it gets it absolutely right. So props to Lithgow and Rush for fantastic performances. The support cast do their job well as well. George Henner in particular for his performance as Tony Garfield, especially when he goes to do the hacker dance in the break room. It's quite heartbreaking, really. But overall, it's a really good effort. And like I said on Instagram, we need more movies like this. Horror is absolutely thriving. And people like Lithgow and Rush getting involved in it as well, we're all the better for it. So that is my review, my first thoughts on The Rule of Jenny Penn. I probably would watch it again. It'd be a difficult watch, but it's certainly, I would watch it to notice things that I might not have seen the first time around. So that's my review. An excellent movie, New Zealand movie, worth a watch if you're a horror fan, if you're a psychological horror fan in particular. Get onto Shudder and watch it because it is really worth talking about. And if you can go past issues I had with it, it's an absolutely fantastic experience. So that's The Rule of Jenny Penn. This has been me, Primetime Mitch. I'll see you guys later for more content. Have a good day.